What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we are going to talk about the complete history of the Chevrolet Cobalt, which ran for just 6 years from 2005 to 2010. The Cobalt was introduced when General Motors executives realized the need for a newer and more modern budget compact sedan to replace the aging Chevy Cavalier and the recently discontinued Geo Prism. Though new, the Cobalt was looking like it would just be another boring sedan in Chevy's lineup, fitting nicely between the smaller Aveo and the larger Malibu. But as many of you already know, the Cobalt proved that it could be far from boring. But more on that later. The Chevy Cobalt was a one-generation vehicle that was available as a two-door coupe or a four-door sedan. It started selling in 2004 for the 2005 model year and ran for a relatively short period of time until its last model year in 2010. It proved itself to be a reliable commuter vehicle, which was cheap to maintain, perfect for the younger generation looking to buy their first new car. Over 1 million Cobalts were sold in the US, with many more sold abroad, which is an astounding number for a model with only 6 years of production. In every year of its production, the Cobalt was offered in 3 trims, the LS, LT, and the famous SS. The base trim of the Cobalt was the LS. This trim came with a 2.2-liter inline-4 engine, which had varying horsepower ratings over the years, all of which were around 150, with newer models being slightly higher. These models got an impressive 25 miles per gallon in the city and 36 miles per gallon on the highway and came standard with a 5-speed manual transmission. The LS Cobalt truly was an economy car for the working class, and though it had no special features or anything particularly exciting about it, an MSRP of $14,000, or about $20,000 in today's money, made it an easily attainable car. The next trim up was the LT trim. This trim was separated into 2 levels, the LT1 and the LT2, but unlike the military, the LT2 was higher than the LT1. The LT trim had the same engine and power output as the LS, with the largest change being that a 4-speed automatic transmission was standard instead of a manual. The LT still had cloth seats, but with this trim they were called sport cloth, so the interior of the vehicle remained largely unchanged. Some improvements from the LT1 to the LT2 included an incorporation of cruise control, upgraded rims, anti-lock brakes, and remote start. Finally, we're at the trim level that made the Cobalt one of the most well-known and respected Chevy vehicles of the 21st century, the SS. What made this trim so special is its large boost in power over its lower models, as well as its impressive ability to be modified to produce incredible amounts of power. The Cobalt SS was offered with 3 different engines during its 6-year life. The first was a 2.0-liter supercharged inline-4, which put out 205 horsepower. This engine was only available between 2005 and 2007. There was also an engine offered for the SS in 2006, which is much less impressive, a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated inline-4 with only 171 horsepower. This engine was later downgraded to be a trim of its own, called the Sport Coupe or SC trim, though it was rarely discussed. The final and by far most powerful engine for the Cobalt came out for the 2008 model year and stayed until the Cobalt's retirement in 2010. This engine was a 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4, producing 260 horsepower, 55 more than the previous supercharged version. This engine took the Cobalt from 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, which is insanely quick for a 4-cylinder low-price sedan. Many of these SS models were very popular with modders and tuners, allowing these vehicles to achieve supercar levels of power. So like I always ask, what happened to the Chevrolet Cobalt? Production of the Cobalt ended in 2010 for the same reason production for its predecessors ended, and that was because General Motors felt the need to update an already aging economy car. GM's solution was to introduce the Chevrolet Cruze to replace the Cobalt, which was a sportier looking and more fuel-efficient car, while also being much less powerful. Chevy did re-release the Cobalt again for the 2020 model year in the Brazilian market, but with less than 100 horsepower and extremely low-quality production. The name is about the only real similarity between these vehicles. Well, folks, that is going to be it for us today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe.